आ रही है यहाँ पे। हेलो हेलो हेलो।
ये सब अपने कैमरा कौन सा है? पूछ रहे थे,
हेलो हेलो।
बता दे।
हेलो हेलो हेलो। 1 2 3 हेलो।
Welcome, everyone. So, this is Happy New Year to all of you. This is a new beginning in the sense that continuity with the last year is that we hope to have a lot of more cooperation from your side, from the media side, and from the ministry side, because I'm right in the middle of the two in the 2023 new year. And we will request ma'am to begin with a small presentation on technical textile, following which we will take your question and answers, mostly on this subject. But if there is anything other important things, some, I mean, clarifications and some things you need to get from textile, we will listen to her presentation and her words.
Thank you, and I'd like to welcome a very warm for all of us. Today primarily that's what thought we start you new taxation that we are initiating guidelines that are so a couple of guidelines that are for the benefit of reaching our institutions, targeting skilling, etc. So that was another area where we wanted to touch upon. But I would just like to first probably start with a little bit of an overview of the technical textile sector in a sense, and of India's strength in natural fiber, and whether it is cotton or silk, jute, etc. Um, but technical textiles and made fiber are really the areas where a lot of high growth, a lot of potential for growth exists, both within the domestic market and also when we look at the external market. And being mindful of the huge potential which exists in, especially in technical textiles, is that's the reason why the government has decided to launch a national technical textile 4. You are also aware that in our PLI scheme for textile, we have specifically focused on man-made fiber, fabric, apparel, as well as technical textiles. So these really remain the key areas of our focus. And when we interestingly we think of technical textiles, it's basically any textile product with which a functionality is associated. So I mean, maybe in your studios as well you have soundproofing, you have some kind of acoustic this thing through layering maybe on the floor, etc. All of that is technical textile. So if it's a floor covering which is fire resistant or water resistant or skid resistant, it becomes a technical textile. When we look at say for instance agriculture, mulch net, we have crop nets, all of that is technical textile. When we look at automobile, the mobile the mobile tech as it is called, so their seat belts or airbags, all of that is technical textile. So really, it is sort of it's everywhere around us, and its usage and application is increasing by a huge amount. So really, there is a big leap that is happening in this sector. It's a very exciting segment of the total, textile sector. And hopeful that both in the textile sector, and hopeful that we just by brief introduction do have a presentation, and of course I've introduced my team, which is the additional secretary textiles of the technical textile mission, Mr. Goda. So and of course Abhishek, the thing also. So can we start with the presentation, and perhaps I'll cover some of the larger elements of the presentation, and then in some more specifics I'll ask the joint secretary to comment with that. So can we? Somebody's peop- just they click. Okay, I think maybe we've also circulated hard copy. Okay, we will afterwards. All right. So, well, so like I said, textile, we see any material or products which have any sort of functionality associated with it, which goes beyond, just the apparel or the aesthetic appeal. So, for instance, I mean, if I were to just think of a simple example, um, a jacket, yes, or a PPE kit. COVID made us kind of familiar with these. A jacket, yes, or a PPE kit. COVID made us kind of familiar with these penetration technical textile, where the penetration level, the blood penetration, there are standards which were established. The function of a PPE kit is to give that kind of a protection to the health worker. So similarly, the N95 mask, or if I were to look at maybe a swimming costume, so a spandex swimming costume, which is water resistant and helps in high performance in swimming activity, that is also technical textile. So like I said, it's a functionality which gets associated. In fact, even in geotextile, in of roads or in building technology, and also in terms of conveyor belts, industrial technology. So that's why I'm saying it's a very exciting area, and the applications of technical textiles are increasing year by year. I think we seem to be having some little issue with the technical bit on the presentation, but anyways, without waiting for that. So if I were to just give you an example, we will share with you these details so that you will have it with you. Just to give you a sense of the total, market or the internationally, the figure of 2020. So, this will be even larger today. This is the global market. The Indian market today is roughly about $21 billion. So that is the size of the Indian market. When we look at the total trade or exports in technical textiles, it's to the tune of about 125, 126 billion. Again, these figures are for the year 2020, so there would be certain updation there. The share of India, however, is quite minuscule. It's about 2.2 billion only. So this is, what we are looking at, tapping the domestic market as well as the external market. In terms of the penetration, in some of the developed countries, the penetration levels are as high as 70%, 30 to 70%. Penetration levels are there in the international markets, international developed countries. In India, it is still low at about 8 to 10%. So as India, develops, becomes economically more developed, and all, the domestic demand is also likely to go up for these, specialized and function-oriented textiles. The good part is that the growth rate in India is about 8% at this point, which is quite, almost double that of the global growth rate. So we are catching up. Hopefully, we can catch up fast enough. But so there is, buoyancy in terms of the domestic demand. Some of our focus areas when we are looking at technical textiles will be to, as of now, we have a lot of import dependence on a specialty fiber, on the machinery that is used for making technical textiles. So going forward, other fibers like cotton, nylon, or wool, etc., to provide that kind of special function. So a specialty fiber would have, specific properties of strength, of resistance, of tenacity. So that fiber today, we have a lot of import dependence. So we are hoping that, with under the mission, we will be able to take care of some of that. Yes. So we are now with the presentation. So I've just covered basically what technical textiles is. Next, please. These were some of the application areas. You'll find a lot of interesting, in terms of agrotech, mobile tech, industrial applications, medical, build tech, packing technology also in India is doing home tech and landfills. So the sort of what landfills. So membrane is something which is extreme to prevent leaching, and it has other properties. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I've touched both global and where India and where we are hoping that we will be able to have some huge growth in this segment. Next, please. So the National Technical Textile Mission has been under implementation since 2021. Active solution focusing on encouraging basic fundamental fiber, aramids, nylon fiber, so much as I said, we are presently dependent in the government flagship programs also to encourage the use of textiles. In fact, we are working very closely with some of the user ministries and departments, including defense, infrastructure ministries, and so on, so that we can encourage the use of technical textiles. The whole thing would be complete unless we focus also on skilling. So we have to have manpower which has requisite skill to be able to take this forward. So there is emphasis on that. And developing indigenous machinery and equipment, also where we are having import dependence at this point. And last is, of course, to encourage innovation in this sector and promote startups. Next, please. So we are looking at, the outlay under this mission is 1,480 crores, and we will achieve a market size of about 40 billion and an export of 10. So we are presently at around 2 billion to plus billion exports, and I know that this is a little bit of a daunting target that we have, but we are hopeful that we'll be able to make considerable progress, considering that there is huge market which is available outside. And these are the 4 components that we have mentioned where the mission is focused. One is on the research and innovation development, where we are with institutions like IIT, like CSIR, like DRDO, etc., along with industry partners. So each of our research proposals or projects also have an industry partner, so that whatever gets developed is relevant for industry purposes. The second component is about markets and promoting market and market development and promotion. Then we are focusing on exports, and we are looking at skilling and training. So these are the 4 broad components. Next, please. A bit of detailing on these. I will not go into this. I have already mentioned that research is focusing on fundamental research development of this fiber itself and the applications. And in our market development, we are doing various outreach programs, we are doing exhibitions, we are doing demonstration centers also. Rajiv will go a little bit in detail about one particular demonstration center at Navsari on agrotech, which we are developing, which you may find of interest. And then we have export promotion related activities. Here we are looking at, developing a strategy and an action plan on how we can tap some of the overseas export markets. And here we'll also have to, focus on quality. Actually, in technical textiles export markets. And here we'll also have to, focus on quality. Actually, in technical textiles, quality will be extremely important because we have to meet with the international benchmarks. The whole point of technical textile is that it has to meet with the function, and that function will have some specs. And lastly, of course, the education and training component, where we are hoping to work very closely with our educational institutions, both in terms of, encouraging them to include technical textile related courses in their curriculum, and help them with their internship programs and so on. Next. So just briefly, I've already made a mention of the PLI scheme So this was just to sort of re-emphasize the point that the government is focused, on promoting technical textiles, and the focus on quality, as I said, important. And we're working on a number of over 100 QCOs are being developed and in areas including biotech, protech, etc. These are under issue. More than 200 HSN codes have already been developed. There are more than 500 BIS standards which have been developed for technical textiles. As I've already mentioned, these standards are extremely important because the whole, the functionality depends on these. Then we are working very closely with various ministries, which are user ministries, to encourage the use of technical textiles across flagship programs and across all activities of those ministries. And they are doing it in a very proactive manner. Next. So now I will ask the Joint Secretary, Mr. Raj, so that we can share with you some more specific activities which we have undertaken. Thank you.
Good morning to all. First, I will cover the
Activities we have undertaken. Thank you.
good morning to all. First, I cover this what actually we have done in this National Technical Textile Mission. As ma'am has already told, the prime focus of this is the research. So some research in fundamental and also applied areas. We have so far sanctioned 74 proposals of value around 230 crores. It covers specialty fibers mostly, and applied research means specialty fibers like development of carbon fibers by using some technology, some electrospinning, some fiber is there, but we have to produce the fiber at a larger volume by some economical methods. So some such type of research are being undertaken. And applied areas, you see that fiber is a wonderful thing. In every sphere of life, you will see fibers. Fibers are replacing metals, replacing concrete. So some proposals like we are trying to develop turbine blades with fiber. One proposal has been sanctioned. You see that hydrogen gas is element of pressure. But we have sanctioned 27 crore research proposal, in which 3 times of that means 1200 kilopascal. At this pressure, we want to store hydrogen in cylinder made of fibers. So you see that fibers are everywhere and it can replace many things. Concrete, like in canal, we can replace concrete with fibers in canal lining, road construction, everywhere. So such proposals have been sanctioned, and we are inviting research proposals continuously. The window is open, and at any time, industries, academia also, IITs, premier institutions, all are being invited. So number of webinars have been conducted. For startups, as Ma'am had already told, we are framing a guidelines very soon. We will come up with a guideline to support the startups also. Textile machinery guidelines we have already launched. You know that we want to develop indigenous technical textile machinery. Also, it will cover instruments, tools, and everything it will cover. So next slide, please. And in this market promotion and development, this is a very important area because our of the segments of technical textiles, you see that import figures are matching. It's not that we don't have the enough demand in certain areas. So the mission says that we have to develop the demands, and we are approaching different ministries to increase the usage of technical textile. Just like if we mandate that all the landfills should have the lining of geotex, it will prevent contamination of the groundwater. This can be one of the area, environmental field. It will help improve the life of the people. Like in medical textiles, you have seen the success in medical textiles. This is the awareness that to create. We are pushing all the Gati ministries to promote the use. So we have conducted number of series of such focused conferences, and we have already planned a number of conferences also. So as demonstration center also plays a very important role. We have to tell exactly what these advantages are. Like agro textiles is being used since long, crop covers, mulch mat that retains the moisture, plus some type of technical textiles prevent prevent the crop snow and many other features are there. So in past schemes of technical textiles that we have set up number of demonstration centers, smaller ones in northeast areas and other part of the countries to show that and other part of the country to show that 10,000 square meter of area at Navsari Agriculture University, 8, 9 type like vertical farming and different type of farming patterns are there. We are creating around 500 square meters, all the drip irrigation, all the facilities, but without agrotech and juxtaposed on the other side we have similar facility with agrotech. So we want to show that anybody can go, farmers, academicians, agriculture scientists can go. It will be for 3 years, so that people can see actually what are the advantages of agrotech. Because we unless until the common farmers are educated in this and they are convinced with the advantages, the usage will not go up. This will also be commensurate with the vision of who always said we have to double the income of the farmers, because our land day and by is reducing, because we will require the land for many other uses. The Technotex is one of the very important flagship event of our ministry. It is being organized from last 8 to 10 years with FICCI. It's a biannual event. So in this year, from 22nd to 24th February in Mumbai, we are having this Technotex event. So far, we have got confirmation from more than 30 countries, like important countries like USA, already confirmed their participation. Some of the universities like Northern University, etc., will be participating. So this will be giving a great opportunity to Indian manufacturers of conventional textile field also, so that they can look for developing the facilities for technical textiles also. And roundtable conference will be there, and CEO, some pets, some made in India can happen, some industry, some leading technical textile manufacturer can think of setting up the plant in India. So this is the event coming up. Next one. For promotion, recently the LTPC, which is already Export Promotion Council, has been given additional responsibility of promoting the technical textiles. So we are working with SRTPC to achieve the target of 10 million that is envisaged in our mission, how to increase this export potential. We are having export potential in this area. Next one. Suppose demands increases, so we should have we have finalized the two important initiatives, and we are issuing these guidelines today itself. First one is just like you said, different education institutions are there. Not only textile engineering, it is not related to only textile engineering, because our users are across the disciplines. So textile engineering can introduce a full course on technical textiles, like civil engineering department institutions can have Meditech, agriculture institute can have agrotech. So we are opening portal. Guidelines have already been launched are available on our website. The online portal is there. We are it is opening on 10th, and it will close on 2nd March. I will give the details in next slides. Second one is internship support. Like in engineering colleges, in 3rd year or even 2nd year, students go for training for 2 to 3 months. So they are not getting anything. So we are encouraging the industry to give the training in technical textiles to the students. So we are planning to give some assistance to them through the industry, and that will help in students in getting know-how in technical textiles also. And further, this will develop a trained manpower for the industry for if they want to recruit in future. Next one. This is the detail of the two guidelines I am going to tell you. First one is the education. I'm going to tell you. First one is the education and training part, in which we are going to grant only for upgradation of lab means, and training of the faculty is specifically required for that use. These are the two components we are going to give grant. Next one. These are the different criteria that we have laid down. Like some textile engineering institutions can introduce at UG level at least 2 compulsory subjects, and we are going to give maximum 7.5 plus 0.5 crores grant. This is the maximum one. Like civil engineering institutions, other institutions can introduce at least one compulsory paper and few electives. Then yes, they can seek a grant in this. We are covering civil engineering, similar institutions, agriculture institutions, medical science, medical sites, institutes also like etc. They are covered in this. Next one, like mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, automobile. These are all covered. They can get the benefit. And this, if even some introduce can think of introducing a full course at PG level, at UG level also. If they introduce full course in technical textiles, obviously maximum amount applicable is little bit higher. So next one. Just previous one, please. So in this, all we are, this scheme is open to public institutions also and private also. But in the private, we have kept the criteria that minimum some NIF ranking has to be there. Without NIF ranking, we will not consider. And the private, yes, public institutions, all are covered. So they have to give this application on the portal, giving specific details of the grant will be given. Next one. And this is another second scheme that is being launched for internship support. In the internship support, these are the areas where we want to give. These are the means eligible courses in which areas internship support can be given, like textile engineering, civil engineering, agriculture, and focus areas are geotech, agrotech, meditech, and industrial textiles, smart textiles. These are the areas. Next one. As I've already told, the grant can be for 20,000 per month for maximum of 2 months per year. The process is that in the first phase, the categories can apply, like industry, textile industry, our textile associations, manufacturers, they can submit the application for empanelment. Once they are empaneled, so maximum 50 students per year per empaneled agency can be and the can be given in the institutions with NIF ranking above 200. This is the criteria. Not all the institutions. Internship is not open for all. So these, and the payment will be given on reimbursement basis. First, the industry will pay the students, and then on the actual basis, we will reimburse to the industry. I think we have covered what initiatives we have taken, and further, I think the startups and other schemes we are working. Thank you very much.
Just to sort of, add that all of these interventions basically enabling environment and ecosystem in which the technical textile sector can reach its full potential in terms of growth, in terms of, so skilling is there, research, application, engagement with institutions, engagement with industry, market development, all of that is a part of the National Textile Mission. So that is what we wanted to apprise friends from the media.
I'm Roopshri from PTI. Ma'am, sir mentioned that very soon guidelines will be released for promoting startups in the technical textile segment. Could you elaborate a bit on this, ma'am?
We are in the process of consultation, internal consultation, and we'd like to have some feedback from the industry. We're just working on that, and I'm hopeful that maybe in the next couple of months, next month or so, we'll be able to bring out these guidelines. Essentially, what is, like I said, to encourage innovation. So what we are envisaging, of course, this is at this point a little tentative, but maybe a grant of up to 50 for proposals that budding entrepreneurs on. It could be application related to technical textile or even on research related, and we would have an evaluation kind of a committee which would decide on approving a grant for that. So grant would be up to 50 lakhs. That's what we are looking at. So hopefully within a month or so we'll be able to have these
Ma'am,
guidelines.
will this require cabinet approval? Will you
It is already approved by the cabinet with a total of 1480 crores, and we have a mission steering group which is headed by the honorable minister for textiles, and we also have Niti Aayog member is a part of that, and so also the principal scientific advisor. So there is a very rigorous sort of a mechanism in place, institutional mechanism under the mission itself, and so the approval would be at at that. It doesn't have to go to the cabinet.
So, ma'am, I'm Jigesh from the mission is operational for the last 1 year. So, could you see any changes in terms of say revenues, exports, or in terms of generating jobs? And in the last 1 year, is there any specific changes because of this mission that has come to this segment?
So yes, that's a good point. This mission has been now, of course, it's since 2021 actually. So it's all more than a year, 2-3 years down the line. Of course, I mean, there was COVID and all of that. So some of that impact was also felt in terms of mission activities. But at this point, we have started a number of activities within the mission. I think they are reaching their stage of fruition, as it were. A lot of research work is happening, and if we are able to develop more applications which would be of relevance across sectors, that would be a key achievement under the mission. Similarly, we are also engaging with the institutions and academic institutions on development of basic fiber, high performance fiber. So these are things which have been put in place, and they will take some time. However, on skilling and through the initiatives that we are launching today, I'm hopeful that we can see the impact of this. This will not only internship and introduction of these courses in technical textile related courses in say architecture courses or medical will increase, I feel, will add value to the course which are already being run, and probably increase the employability also of people who get trained in such manner. So I think the effects of that should come to us in the next in the short term, if I could say. But yes, in terms of what is already happening in the technical textile sector, we made a mention of during COVID about the from a position of 100% dependence on imports for PPE kits for N95, we went to a position where we were not only self-sufficient in a very short period of time, within a span of few months, we became one of the largest exporters as well. So there is definitely a lot of potential, and so we are hoping that with this mission we can explore some more of that.
Just one thing I would like to add. If you have seen the slide, IIT Delhi has done the baseline study. They said that India's penetration of technical textiles in total textiles is around 8% something. Now, recent figure shows that we have reached up to 13%. The recent data. So you can see the significant jump. And recent papers you have seen that this is the niche sector. Even the companies in sports tech, etc., they have made a huge jump. So this is the area which lies before the industry.
जी सर, मैं राजीव हूँ दैनिक जागरण। मैडम, मेरा सवाल है कि ये 500 करोड़ अभी 23-24 तक आपको ये अचीव करना है, 40 बिलियन का मार्केट साइज इन द टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल। तो एक नंबर वन सवाल है मेरा कि कितने लोगों की जरूरत होगी 23-24 यानी कि 24 मार्च तक आपका ये टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल का जो मिशन है वो उस समय नहीं हो रहा है, तो कितने लोगों की जरूरत होगी इस लक्ष्य को हासिल करने के लिए, $40 बिलियन के लक्ष्य को हासिल करने के लिए जो स्किलिंग है, और उस वो मतलब कितने लोगों को इसमें रोजगार मिलेगा? नंबर 2 सवाल है कि आप सिर्फ 20 बिलियन पे हैं, 21 बिलियन आपने खुद बताया है, और $20 बिलियन क्या हम, इज इट अचीवेबल इन 1 ईयर? बिकॉज नेम फाइनेंशियल इज कमिंग मार्च। एक्सपोर्ट को जो सिर्फ 2 बिलियन का है अभी, वो उसको आप 10 बिलियन 5 टाइम्स आप अचीव क्या कर पाएंगी? मतलब ये बेसिक सवाल है जो क्या ये इतना बड़ा लक्ष्य आप अचीव कर पाएंगे? नंबर 1। नंबर 2 सवाल मेरा ये इंपॉर्टेंट है कि कितने लोगों की जरूरत होगी इन टारगेट को हासिल करने के लिए जो आप 500 करोड़, ये क्या ये 500 करोड़ 23-24 फाइनेंशियल ईयर में खर्च कर दिया जाएगा?
थैंक यू आपके सवाल के लिए, और आपने बिल्कुल मतलब बहुत रेलिवेंट सवाल पूछा है। ये सही है कि अभी जहां पर हम हैं, जैसे कि 2-2.5 बिलियन पर है, एंड वी आर जब एक्सपोर्ट्स की बात करते हैं और हमें 10 बिलियन का हमने टारगेट, तो जब हमने मिशन शुरू किया था तो उस टाइम पे एक टारगेट टुवर्ड्स विच वी आर वर्किंग, उस हिसाब से 10 बिलियन का टारगेट एंड 40 बिलियन का टोटल मार्केट के साथ हम चले थे। तो इसमें हमने महत्वपूर्ण मतलब प्रोग्रेस भी हुई है, रिसर्च वर्क हो रहा है एंड ऑल दैट, उसका फल जो है वो आएगा आने वाले एक साल में भी आएगा और उसके बाद भी आएगा। लेकिन क्या हम ये टारगेट्स अचीव कर पाएंगे? दैट्स I mean, we are working towards that. We are working towards achieving in terms of utilization of the money within the mission. शायद आप ये कह रहे हैं कि 500 करोड़ का जो जिस आउटले है, तो ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि जैसे अभी हमने ये एजुकेशन के लिए लेबोरेटरी अपग्रेडेशन के लिए जो आज हम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं, या इंटर्नशिप के लिए, इसमें वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग, बिकॉज बेस्ड ऑन वॉट एवर इंटरेक्शन वी हैड with the educational institutions, that there will be a robust demand. तो काफी इसमें applications आएंगी and immediately we would be able to sanction the money to them to upgrade laboratories, etc. So we are expecting that there would be a lot of offtake of this money, और हम export और total achievement की तरफ तो बढ़ते रहेंगे, और I'm hopeful that we'll be able to make substantial progress, let me put it like that, towards these targets.
कितने लोगों की स्किल्ड लोगों की जरूरत होगी नेक्स्ट 1 ईयर में इस टारगेट को अचीव करने के लिए? कुछ ऐसा प्लान हुआ है कि कितने लोग रोजगार मिलेगा, कितने लोग को स्किल करेंगे हम टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल?
जी, तो जैसे कि हम लोग अभी टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल का यूजेज भी मंत्रालयों में और हर सेक्टर में बढ़ाने के लिए भी काम कर रहे हैं। तो जैसे जैसे वो बढ़ेगा, स्किल्ड मैन पावर की रिक्वायरमेंट होगी, और उसी तरह से तो वी आर ट्राइंग टू मीट दैट रिक्वायरमेंट, जो रिक्वायरमेंट स्किल्ड मैन पावर की टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स में आने वाले समय में आने वाली है, उसको टैकल करने के लिए आज से हम स्किलिंग को अपग्रेड करके और स्किलिंग को सपोर्ट देना चाह रहे हैं। तो जैसे कि अगर जैसे बिल्ड टेक है या इंडस्ट्रियल टेक्नोलॉजी, जितना ज्यादा से ज्यादा यूज होगा टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल का, उतनी ही ज्यादा स्किल्ड मैन पावर की डिमांड होगी। आज की डेट में हमारे पास में स्किल्ड मैन पावर नहीं है उसको मीट करने के लिए, तो इसीलिए हम इंडस्ट्री के साथ और एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस के साथ काम करके वी वांट टू क्रिएट दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ मैन पावर, दैट पूल, दैट स्किल्ड पूल of a pool of skilled manpower we can take up this work. So I'm hopeful that it will create, like I said, it will increase the employability of people who are graduating from these courses, and it will create a large pool of skilled manpower.
सौरभ, हिंदुस्तान अखबार से।
जी।
मैम, जॉब से जुड़ा हुआ सवाल है कि जब इस मिशन की बात करते हैं तो हमने कोई टारगेट रखा होगा कि इतनी नौकरियां इस सेक्टर में आएंगी, वो टारगेट क्या था और इन 1 या 2 साल में हम उसको कितना अचीव कर पाए?
हमने जैसे आप अगर आउटले में भी देखेंगे इस मिशन का, जो जैसे 1480 करोड़ में से 1000 करोड़ इज फॉर द रिसर्च व्हिच वी हैव केप्ट। सो बेसिक फोकस इसका रिसर्च पे था। और लेट मी गो बैक अ लिटिल बिट, दिस होल मिशन वांट्स टू क्रिएट एन इकोसिस्टम। सो स्किलिंग, job creation is one part of that, but there is also a lot of work which has to be done on the research, development of the basic high performance fibers, carbon fiber है या aramids हैं etc. And also applications. So जितना ज़्यादा applications होती जाएंगी उतना ही ज़्यादा job opportunities भी create होंगी क्योंकि हम उसको अप्लाई करेंगे रोड टेक्नोलॉजी में या इंडस्ट्री में जहां भी करेंगे तो कोई एक नंबर अगर आप पूछ रहे हैं मुझसे तो मैं नंबर वी डोंट रियली हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ वन ब्रॉड नंबर बट looking at textile sector per se, textile sector is a very high employment labor intensive sector, and looking at the growth of technical textiles within the textile sector, we do expect that this would lead to a number. Thank you.
In magazine, the guidelines the sir just highlighted, there is a number of 15 turns per academic year. Do you think 50 is enough, or is there any possibilities that this number will increase? Thank you.
I think 50 is actually the number per industry. So an industry can, in 1 year or whatever, take up to 50 interns in there. So there is no limit. तो जैसे IIT या किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन के मान लीजिए 200 स्टूडेंट्स हैं तो हम सबको दे सकते हैं बट एक इंडस्ट्री में 50 ही जा पाएंगे. So that is the only. So it's not. I don't think it should act as a limitation per se. Because those industries also have to, we'll have to sort of empanel them because they should be, related to technical textiles. जिसमें ही उनको students को वो benefit मिल पाएगा technical textile exposure.
I think, ma'am, the questions related to this are over, and this is early days for technical textiles, and for the course of the next few years, we'll keep on meeting on this ever expanding field. Then we will have more complete numbers probably. So
This is also technical textile.
the covering on the mic. So I think formal session we can end now. We can have, informally chat over tea. Thank you.
And thank you for your questions also. And we are all very excited about working in this particular segment. I think it's a segment which is going to only become bigger. As